Welcome back, everyone, to the Siro Sales Academy powered by Grosso University. Again, Dominic Caminata here with Joe and Dan. And we got another amazing topic we're going to talk about in this course, and it's running powerful sales meetings. As you will learn throughout this training, Siro provides sales leaders with invaluable insight into their team's daily activities in the field. With this newfound X-ray vision that Siro provides, sales coaches can now access the critical data needed to run highly effective sales meetings that are absolutely laser focused on the areas your team needs to improve upon. So in this course, we're going to explore how Siro's data and recordings can help you design impactful sales meeting agendas and the perfect structure for those weekly sessions. So Rick Grosso, my mentor, had a famous quote he always used to share. He says, "Diagnosis without prognosis is malpractice." So that's essentially what we're committing here is that we're trying to course correct or coach anybody without first diagnosing the problem. And you mentioned that in a previous video there, Joe. I need to first discover what the problem is and then prescribe a solution that makes sense. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. So we want sales meetings to be something that salespeople desire to attend because they know when they come to a sales meeting, they get re-energized, they get re-inspired, they get re-motivated, and they come away with tangible education and information that can better their profession, better their career. So we want this to be an exciting part. This should be the moment in the week where they come back to get that enthusiasm, that eye of the tiger back, where they leave that meeting ready to go chew through walls to go set the leaderboard on fire. So let's talk about how Siro, first of all, can help you put together a world-class agenda. So when I show up to that meeting, I'm not speaking about what my team needs in theory, I'm speaking about what they need in reality. If I'm really, let's say I waited till the last minute to do this, and I'm like, I need to put together an agenda fast. It's like my sales meeting's at Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and it's like 9:30, and I still don't have an agenda. So I'm like last minute, hey, I need to put something together. How can we do that?
Funny enough, I mean, let's say last minute, you could jump into a recording, go into Ask Siro and say, based on this conversation, draft a team meeting agenda that incorporates the key skills that need work. What it came up with was sales rep could improve their communication skills in a few key areas. Number one, asking clear questions and guiding the customer to make decisions. The rep asked if the customer wanted stairs or a ring, which was confusing. The rep should ask more specific, direct questions. Two, explaining options and features more clearly. When discussing flooring and insulation options, the rep's explanation was unclear and he trailed off without fully answering the question. The rep needs to provide complete, easy to understand explanations of the different options. To address these areas, the team meeting agenda could include 1, role-playing exercises on asking guiding questions, 2, training on product features and options, 3, putting together a sales binder with samples and visuals, practicing confident, complete explanations and demonstrations. So
my next 3 sales meetings are already done, basically. I already know exactly what I'm going to be talking about.
Hey closers, it's Daniel Coomes-Barry from Grosso University. I'm the sales trainer who runs our monthly Sales Academy Masterclass where we walk you through our 11-step process for in-home sales in the home improvement industry. This process is perfect for salespeople of any level of experience, whether you're green coming right into the field or you've been doing this for 30 years. We promise you that you're going to learn something that you can take out that day and help you close business. From my personal experience, I know that many homeowners that you talk to are looking to work with a credible expert who is knowledgeable, but they don't like being sold. The beautiful part about this process is it can be tailored for any personality type, any problem you may run into, and we're going to go through this in such a detail-oriented manner that you'll be prepared for any situation. From walking up and knocking on the door all the way through buttoning up the deal, we will teach you the nuanced art form that is one-call closing. This is a skill set that helped me make multiple 6-figure income for years and years, and now, because I get to sit on this side of the camera, I get to pass that skill set along to you. I hope you're up to the task because I'll tell you, this is a 145-page book that we train over a 2-week span. It is coupled with our 11-part video series that's broken down so it's easy to digest. No matter what type of learner you are, we accommodate you. Now at the end of our 2-week training process, you will have to pass a final exam, and it's not easy. You'll have to score at least an 85% on this final exam in order to become a certified sales warrior through the Grosso University program. And that's where the hard work begins. But if you're up to the task and you want to make life-changing money and cultivate a skill set that will permeate into all areas of your life, I invite you to join me in the Sales Academy Masterclass. We have classes that start on the second Monday of every month, and I look forward to seeing you in class. And as always here at Grosso University, yes, you are a closer.
And if you have a specific agenda that you like to use, like a framework, you could say, hey, based on this framework, create an agenda. But that's like the super last minute thing is have Ask Siro. But typically, again, what we recommend is coming into insights and identifying the problem areas. Like we talked about in the previous video, you're going to have a breakdown across your team of where people are struggling. You'll even be able to benchmark your team against the other offices within the organization. And you can take a screenshot of this, right? If you're going to cover, a specific objection, you can screenshot how often that's losing you deals versus other offices if other offices are doing better. And this way, you're not really calling out someone specific. You're saying, hey guys, we have a huge opportunity to be better. Let's actually learn from the guys in the Midwest or whatever it might be. And you have these dashes where you can benchmark against other teams, available not just for objections, but also making sure you're covering all the key points of the process. You're communicating in a way that's going to land with the customer, the right level of interactivity, the right pacing, right number of questions, so on and so forth. One of the things that you can do is even type into Ask Siro some of these things and have it generate some suggestions for you on how to frame it, how to cover it. That's basically it. I mean, you're going to come in here, you're going to find problems. You can ask Siro for help drafting specific verbiage or an outline. You're going to want to screenshot some graphs to make points, tee up some example recordings for you to change behavior.
So that right there is obviously a game changer. Now, of course, I get this data. I was able to put together a sales meeting agenda literally in 1 minute. Let's say we get the sales meeting agenda crafted, we show up to the sales meeting. One thing I think is important with every sales meeting is recognition, right? And we want that sales room buzzing. We want it to be full of energy. We want people hooting and hollering and clapping, cheering each other on. And of course, I used to rely strictly on the KPIs and the numbers, right? So if I knew a sales rep had the highest demo rate in the company, I would cheer them on, recognize them for that. So how does that work exactly? And how could that be intertwined with this recognition segment?
Totally. So there's two ways I've seen people do this recognition segment with Siro support. Number one is you actually just go to the posted section and pick the recording that's getting the most attention. And so if we click into this one, now we've got this recording that got the most attention, and I'll airdrop it to myself here on the computer so we can ask Siro to find us some real fun highlights. So I airdropped it to myself so it's nice and easy to see. This is the recording that's getting the most attention in the organization right now. We can come into Ask Siro and say, pull some sales highlights. And so while this is thinking, I'll explain the second way. Have your team source it. One of the things that you can do is just tell people, hey, nominate moments that you hear to be recognized for everyone during the team meeting. Just drop a comment on the moment and tag me, and then I'll review those and pick the best one. The rep built trust by emphasizing the experience and dedication of the installation team. When it came to close, they smoothly introduced an extra discount and did so in a low-pressure way, offering to step out and let the customer address it. So
it's the 1-2 punch that Dan loves.
That is my combo. You
Yeah.
deliver the IVR and roll it right into a porch light because they're going to tell you they got to think about it. So yeah, you want to be in with the punch.
Always leave the house before you leave the house.
And there's still coaching points in there. Like it came across as smooth, non-confrontational, a lot of takeaways. But I think you could tweak that line and make it even better, which is awesome. That's what coaching should be. It's like, this was awesome and it worked. Let's take that to the next level.
I've had more success a lot of times helping a good rep become great than having a bad rep become good.
Agreed.
And that's where I think you get the most efficiency out of Siro is when you highlight those really good examples or those just good examples from the people who are doing well or doing exceptionally. If people who are doing poorly just copy that example as is, their results are going to get much better because at the end of the day, to get the results the good reps get, you just have to do what the good reps do and say what the good reps say. And you give those good to great reps a little bit of fine tuning that are going to make them better. And so it's a really, really efficient way to coach people, taking those great examples, having everyone copy it, and then giving the person who produced the example a couple of small tweaks.
Well, and you get the brain trust involved here too. Now you have an interactive meeting where it's like, we're going to take 3-4 minutes. I want everybody in here to write down what they like about it, how they would tweak this in order to, whatever, change the result in some way or another. Get them to interact, give us all feedback. Now we've fine-tuned the work track as a group. That's a transformative learning experience. Instead of us just talking at people for an hour, they're engaging in the process of learning and improving their linguistic profile.
Yeah, so share those recordings, share those wins, and that's where these salespeople, as we've talked about in a previous course, you're going to see them write more notes when they're listening to what their peers are doing, those key moments in time. They're going to take that as the holy gospel more so than you as a sales leader preaching that. Now, this is something I can't emphasize enough. Sales meetings must remain positive in nature. Now, Rick Grosso gave me some really great advice many, many years ago. The number one most important thing you need to focus on as the leader of your team is you got to be their cheerleader. And this is where some leaders may see themselves at the top of the org chart, at the top of the pyramid, looking down on their team. I always thought it was the exact opposite. I'm at the bottom of the pyramid and I'm trying to lift everyone up, keep them positive, keep their heads on right. Keep the housekeeping and the negative topics brief. Now, there are things that maybe need, let's say contract-wise, paperwork-wise, need to clean some things up, and it's the whole company that needs to hear it. That's great. If it's simply talking about toxic behavior in your organization or something negative that's happening, more often than not, you have a few offenders, 1 or 2 on your team, that is a root cause of that disease that's occurring in your team. Our recommendation is take care of those one-on-one behind closed doors, because the most important KPI in leadership is keeping people inspired. Now, of course, cover relevant topics driven by data. It makes it a lot more productive and it maintains the relationship between leadership and their team. If I'm speaking precisely to what the data is showing, again, you're treating sales like a sport. It's a data-driven decision, right? This is us going along this journey together of self-improvement. And this is why this is so empowering for sales leaders and sales coaches. It's just like watching the game film. We take notes on what we see together, and then we go out on the practice field and execute. So as far as the post-training molding and support is concerned, this is so priceless for me, because you could give the best training in the history of humanity. Your salespeople would be lucky to retain 10% of that. Do you want your team going out there running those expensive leads with only 10% of the information? So this is where that additional 90% of the work is done, is in those sales meetings. I want to make sure that I'm continuing to work on them. School's never out for the closer. Take this Siro data, make sure you come up with a clear agenda, relevant topics, and get the whole team involved as a mastermind group. And this segues into the next topic. You have to role play. So from what you've seen, Joe, in these organizations leveraging Siro, how have they been able to use the recordings, use these key moments, use the Siro data to greatly enhance the role playing that they're doing, their drills for skills?
One of the big things is just making sure you're role playing the right thing. So we've already talked about how you can use Siro to pinpoint where to focus a bunch. I won't beat that dead horse any longer. The second thing is when you're actually doing the role plays, one of the things you're able to do in Siro when you initiate a recording is decide, quote unquote, what type of conversation it is, which determines what folder it goes into. So this way, if you're recording a real sales conversation, you have it in the real sales conversation folder. It's got a totally separate posted section. Its analytics are totally divorced from, say, a role play conversation. So you just toggle what you're doing before you hit record, and you can do a role play, have it in Siro without it messing up any of the other analytics.
Yeah, because I want to encourage my sales reps to do what we call shadow closing at Grosso University. Basically, it's where I'm either working with my peers or alone in a quiet, relaxed position, actually going through different parts of the sales process, the scripting or the closing, getting that repetition and over so it becomes sales muscle memory, right? So I can do it at an unconscious level without thinking. So it's not going to mess with the data, right? Which is important. So you can segment. We got our role-playing section where the drills and the practice and the rehearsals taking place, and then we have a separate category for real sales encounters when they're in front of John and Mary homeowner.
One of the cool things you can do once you have those recordings is, even during the team meeting, just have everyone pop in headphones and listen to the role play they just did, and have everyone share, what they think they could have done better. Maybe ask them to play it for the group. And once you do nail down an example that you feel really good about, you can go back to it and play it on your way to that next appointment to remind yourself to get your head in the game. We've even seen people like to prompt the role play to start, They'll have everyone sort of ready to role play. They'll play a real customer objection from a recent conversation to tee it up so it's as real as possible.
So again, you're coming to the meeting, your agenda is greatly enhanced with Siro data. Of course, we're able to do these amazing recognition segments where we have the clip of the week, or we got the most watched video clip, the most downloaded video clip. We can turn those even into competitions. Getting people to share these things, your sales team is gonna latch on to that priceless data from their peers more so than anything that you teach and preach in front of them as an authority figure, right?
So Joe, what happens when you have one of those top performers and they say, I don't want to record using Siro because I don't want to give away the secret sauce? You ever heard that from anybody?
But we frankly haven't really heard it once we started implementing Siro. We start with the reps and we get into one of their team meetings and we walk them through just two things: how to record and how to post wins. And that's what it is for the first week. And after a couple of days, then we get the managers on and we say, okay, now that we have your data in here, let's talk about how to use it. And we'll have them share their screen, not us sharing our screen. Okay, what does this data tell you? And we'll help them just chase down a couple of things. And each one's a little bit different because everyone's data is different. But it allows us to get you doing your first coaching on your first onboarding with us. And typically we can get someone to say, holy cow, I didn't realize it was that bad, or something similar, within the first 5 minutes of that onboarding. And then they're asking us, how do I leave a comment on this? Instead of us saying, now the way you leave a comment, you're gonna press this button, and they're checking their watch or checking their email on the other side of the screen. And one of the things we'll mention on that call is don't leave negative feedback for the first week or two. It's only positive stuff to start encouraging people to share, especially give some love to your top people who are going to be the linchpin in this going forward. A week after that first rep onboarding is when we do a second call. We'll actually tee up some of the best examples that people posted in that account, and we'll be able to play them. And we'll show people how to browse around that content, how to comment on each other's stuff, how to save each other's stuff. And so now they are listening to real examples during that call. They get the sense that it's community. A light bulb goes off about this is actually about sharing best practices. If the manager's done a good job, they already have an encouraging comment from the manager somewhere in there. You're really off to the races after that.
That's awesome. Well, you got a lot of people in leadership positions who are from previous generations. They might love this data and the technology, but these guys are technologically slower when it comes to understanding how this stuff works. I will throw myself into that category. If you are a leader and you don't know how to use this tool, it's a paperweight. Most valuable paperweight you got. Yeah, I love that you guys are getting the team hooked on it, showing them the value, getting the neurotransmitters going, the dopamine hit constantly so they get addicted to using it, and then you teach the managers how to use it efficiently. That's awesome.
Sometimes I have to coach my team on, the manager onboarding is supposed to feel a little bit bumpy. They're supposed to make mistakes because if they don't make mistakes and click the wrong button with you, they're going to do it when you're not in the room and then they're going to give up. Let them make those mistakes. It should feel a little bumpy to you, but for them, it's really exciting because they're learning this thing for the first time. Just be patient, let them make those mistakes in front of you so you can correct them and course correct, right? The lane assist before it crashes and burns and they decide to quit. And we've seen really, really great results with that.
Well, in my experience, I've had some leaders who they were clearly going with the bravado and the stick method of training and coaching because they didn't have the data to use the carrot properly. Where now we have all this transparency. I have all the data. I don't have to come in with a bunch of bluster and bravado. You guys aren't hitting your numbers. You got to get this thing going or you're all fired. Now we can go and be like, well, here are the areas of deficiency. We can all focus on this and get better 1% of the time. That's leading instead of just being a boss. Nobody likes working for a boss. So, yeah.
So clearly you can see with the power of Siro, you can pour absolute jet fuel in your sales meetings and make this an exciting and productive educational experience that your salespeople are eager to show up to, and they're gonna leave this ready to go out there and dominate the competition. So again, that was the course on how to conduct world-class sales meetings leveraging Siro data. We appreciate your education and tuning in. Again, Dominic here, Dan, and Joe with Siro. We appreciate your time, and as always, yes, you are a closer.